Just how old are we? An Explanation of Mayan Wisdom Part 3 December 01, 2010 by Mitch Batros, Earth Changes Media. The most widely accepted and recent scientific research indicates humans have been walking this earth as a family and community for over 160,000 years. Further studies from Rutgers University show that some of the earliest humans walked like us and did so on anatomically modern feet 1.5 million years ago. Is it possible ancient tribes traveled from what is now the African continent from places such as Ethiopia and Egypt, to the now continent of North, Central and South America? Is it possible our ancient ancestors such as the Egyptians and Mayans shared or gathered astronomical knowledge? According to the New World Migration Model regarding humans' travel from Africa to America, the answer is yes. This accepted science-based peer-reviewed model shows migration of humans from Eurasia to the Americas took place via Beringia, a land bridge which connected the two continents across what is now known as Russia, Siberia and Alaska. The most recent point at which this migration had taken place is between 12,000–16,000 years ago. However, I would suggest it goes far beyond that. Perhaps ancient human tribes such as the Aksumite, Sumerians, Babylonians, and Egyptians did in fact travel to the Americas, integrating with ancient Mayans, Hopis, and several other indigenous American tribes. Perhaps it was not 16,000 years ago, but 160,000 years ago or perhaps more. The fossilized skulls of 2 adults and 1 child discovered in the Afar region of eastern Ethiopia have been dated at 160,000 years, making them the oldest known fossils of modern humans, or Homo sapiens. The skulls, dug up near a village called Tertu, fill a major gap in the human fossil record, an era at the dawn of modern humans when the facial features and brain cases we recognize today as human first appeared. The fossils date precisely from the time when biologists using genes to chart human evolution predicted that a genetic Eve lived somewhere in Africa and gave rise to all modern humans. We've lacked intermediate fossils between pre-humans and modern humans, between 100,000 and 300,000 years ago, and that's where the hertofossils fit, said paleoanthropologist Tim White, professor of integrative biology at the University of California, Berkeley, and a co-leader of the team that excavated and analyzed the discovery site. Now, the fossil record meshes with the molecular evidence. What anthropologists and archaeologists describe as Paleo-Indians soon spread throughout the Americas, diversifying into many hundreds of culturally distinct nations and tribes. According to the oral histories of many of the indigenous peoples of the Americas, they have been living there since their genesis, described by a wide range of traditional creation accounts. The geography of the world changed dramatically during the time when animals and plants were evolving. The major continental land masses were initially fused together into one giant continent named Pangaea during the Paleozoic era. In the Mesozoic, Pangaea gradually broke up into the present-day continents, which have been moving apart from each other by continental drift ever since. This idea of continental drift was first based on the remarkably close fit between the coastlines of major continents, most notably the west coast of Africa with the east coast of South America. Scientific evidence supported by geological measurements show that the continents on either side of the Atlantic Ocean are still moving apart from one another at the rate of several centimeters per year. Continental drift was actually a little more complicated, with the North American plate drifting around in the Pacific Ocean for quite a long time. A large chunk of the North American plate was recently found in Argentina, which was left there after the two continents bumped into each other then moved apart. The separation of the great landmass into different continents allowed biological evolution to take quite different paths in different parts of the world. The formation of oceanic islands, often by volcanic activity, produced more isolated areas where evolution could experiment with different forms. Breakdown of this isolation, either by geological changes or by transport of organisms between the isolated areas, has often led to extinction of the endemic forms, and so loss of diversity. During the Cenozoic era, There was a gradual lowering of temperatures as well as the gradual establishment of different climatic zones of the Earth: the tropics, the temperate zones and the cool climates of the higher latitudes. The culmination of the cooling trend was the Pleistocene epoch, or Great Ice Age, of the last 1.8 million years. During this time, vast expanses of North America and Eurasia were periodically covered with enormous continental glaciers. These glaciers advanced during the 4 ice ages glacial periods and retreated during the 3 interglacials. We are now living in the 4th interglacial stage. During the glacial periods, the sea level became much lower because so much water was converted to ice. Consequently, land bridges, especially the Bering Land Bridge across the Bering Sea joining Asia with North America, became available for animal migrations. Is it really such a leap to understand humans have been tracking the world for millenniums? Furthermore, is it such a stretch that knowledge of the heavens was shared over tens of thousands of years? Could it be that the Mayans just happened to be the latest of ancient tribes who happened to document data was gathered from literally the world's tribes? Mitch Batros' research of the Sun-Earth connection in 2012. Mitch Batros presents fascinating, and sometimes shocking, research from the world's top scientists. After years of dialogue with these experts, Mitch has been accepted into the guarded halls of NASA, NOAA, ESA, Royal Observatory, the U.S. Naval Observatory and other highly esteemed scientific bodies. In addition to the latest research on the Sun's influence on our weather, Mitch also presents groundbreaking evidence of how the Sun and other celestial orbs produce charged particles and their impact on humanity. Just as the Sun's solar activity affects the Earth's magnetic field, which has a dramatic effect on Earth's weather, that is earthquakes, floods, volcanoes, hurricanes, so does this wave of electrical currents affect the human body's magnetic field. Mitch also reveals a little-known development from modern medicine known as transcranial magnetic stimulation (TMS). TMS provides empirical evidence of how magnetic fields can influence human emotions. Solar Cycle 24 has begun, and it has been predicted by NASA, NOAA and ESA to be up to 50% stronger than its record-breaking predecessor Cycle 23, which produced the largest solar flare ever recorded. The Sun will reach its apex maximum in late 2011 into 2012. I believe it will be the magnetic influence produced by the Sun which will usher in what is described by our ancient ancestors as the transition, bringing us to a new state of being. Mitch Batros.
In the modern world, new calendars have been invented that are sometimes called Mayan, like the dream spell calendar. What do you think? What do the Maya think about these calendars?
Que hay calendarios que han sido creados en estos días. Por ejemplo, está el que le llaman Dream Spell. Ese es el calendario de Argüelles. Que él ha hecho. ¿Qué piensa usted de estos calendarios?
Mire, mi hermano, si usted quiere ser un buen escritor, haga un trabajo bien hecho.
Look, my brother, if you want to be a good writer, just do a job well done.
Porque el calendario maya, nosotros siendo autoridades del calendario, no podemos quitar ni un día, ni podemos aumentar, ni podemos cambiar el nombre.
Because we, like the Mayans, with our calendar, we cannot add a day or take a day out or change or modify anything.
Esos personajes hacen lo que da la gana de hacer, por confundir más al mundo.
So other people, when they do things, they do in a way just like, they just do it without a reason. They just do it because they want to do it like that. And the result is that they confuse the people.
Quiero decir una cosa. Los mayas dicen que el calendario maya, la ciencia maya, solo los mayas lo entiendan y solo los mayas lo saben lo que vale.
I'll tell you one thing. Los mayas dicen.
Sí, solamente los mayas lo saben.
Mayans say that the Mayan thing or the Maya culture or some things about it. The Mayans, only the Mayans understand it.
La persona que no es maya hace lo que le da la gana de hacer. Él se confunde en el mundo occidental, hace lo que le da la gana de confundir más de lo equivocado que estamos.
In other words, the Mayans, they have a reason for everything. But the other people that they don't know the beginnings or the principles, they try to do things according to what they think it's right for them. And what they are doing is confusing people.
El que habla de eso es el señor José Argüelles.
Like one that speaks like this is Mr. José Argüelles.
Llegó con nosotros, fue a pedir permiso que él quiere publicar el calendario de 13 lunas.
He came to visit us, and he talked to us, and he told us that he wanted to, he showed us this calendar of the 13 moons.
Y nosotros dijimos que él no tiene derecho de cambiar el calendario.
And we said to him that he didn't have the right to change our calendar.
Porque él no es maya,
Because in the first place, he's not Maya.
ni es autoridad maya.
And secondly, he's not in Mayan authority either.
Y además un error más grande que cometió.
And then he did another mistake that it was even bigger.
Primero fue pedir permiso a las Naciones Unidas
Before this, he went to ask permission to the United Nations.
y fue pedir permiso al Papa.
And then he went to ask permission to the Pope.
Nosotros, la nación maya, lo que es de nosotros.
We, the Mayans, our belief is what is ours is ours.
No tiene que ver las Naciones Unidas con nosotros,
The United Nations has nothing to do with us,
ni menos el Vaticano.
or even less the Vatican.
Lo que nos ha robado el Vaticano es que nos devuelve y no tiene que manejar nuestro calendario.
More than that, the Vatican has some things that belong to us, and they should return the things to us rather than modifying our calendar.
Nosotros no tenemos por qué autorizar ese calendario a una persona loca de que quiere hacer cambiar el mundo a su manera.
So we told him we don't need to change our calendar just because of, some crazy idea that he has that will confuse the people.
Tal como usted es alemán.
No, él no es alemán.
No es
Sueco.
sueco. Vaya, ya pues usted es sueco. Y yo vengo a decirle que usted no practica su idioma, tiene que aprender otro idioma.
And if I come to tell you, you cannot speak your language anymore, you have to learn this other language.
¿Qué poder tenemos nosotros de cambiarla?
Say, what power do I have to change yours?
Lo que es suyo es suyo.
What is yours is yours.
Y lo que hay en su lugar es suyo, sabe qué es lo que vale.
And what is in your country, do you know the value of those things that you have in your place, in your country?
Muchas letras que hay por ahí, muchas escrituras, está escrito en suizo, en francés, en holandés o en inglés. Y como yo no entiendo, puede ser cosas buenas y yo no sé.
He says his many writings could be in Swiss or in French or in German, and because he doesn't speak that language, so it could be something very good, but he doesn't know it.
Y así es el calendario maya, hay cosas sagradas, cosas grandísimas, está escrita en escrituras mayas, en códices.
And the same way is with the Mayans. We have great, beautiful and important writings that is written in codices.
Y solamente nosotros podemos darle la explicación qué es lo que dice allí.
And only the Mayans and the true elders, they can give a true explanation of what it says.